Okay, hello people, how are you? We are going to continue our lesson in the second video of the ninth week, okay? Well, now, where were we? We were talking about Ankara, and now I want to talk about Anıtkabir, Atatürk's mausoleum and museum, okay? Anıtkabir is the monumental mausoleum of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder of modern Turkey, and it sits high above the city with its abundance of marble and air of veneration. The tomb itself actually makes up only a small part of this fascinating complex, which consists of museums and a ceremonial courtyard. For many Turks, a visit is virtually a pilgrimage, and it's not unusual to see people visibly moved. Allow at least 2 hours in order to visit the whole site. The main entrance to the complex is via the Lion Road, a 262 meters walkway lined with 24 lion statues, Hittite symbols of power used to represent the strength of the Turkish nation. The path leads to a massive courtyard framed by colonnaded walkways, with steps leading up to the huge tomb on the left. To the right of the tomb, the extensive museum displays Atatürk memorabilia, personal effects, gifts from famous admirers, and recreations of his childhood home and school. Just as revealing as all of the rich artifacts are his simple rowing machine and huge multilingual library, which includes tomes he wrote. Downstairs, extensive exhibits about the War of Independence and the formation of the Republic move from battlefields mural with sound effects to over-detailed explanation of post-1923 reforms. At the end, a gift shop sells Atatürk items of all shapes and sizes. As you approach the tomb itself, look left and right at the gilded inscriptions, which are quotations from Atatürk's speech celebrating the Republic's 10th anniversary in 1932. Remove your hat as you enter and bend your neck to view the ceiling of the lofty hall, lined in marble and sparingly decorated with 15th and 16th century Ottoman mosaics. At another end stands an immersed marble cenotaph, cut from a single piece of stone, weighing 40 tons. The actual tomb is in a chamber beneath it. The memorial straddles a hill in a park about 2 kilometers west of Kızılay, the closest Ankara line metro station to the entrance. A free shuttle regularly zips up and down the hill from the entrance. Alternatively, it's a pleasant walk to the mausoleum. It takes about 15 minutes. Note that security checks, including a bag scan, and carried out on entry. Okay? Okay, now I would like to talk about around Ankara. What are there around it, okay? You don't have to go far from Ankara to hit some major pieces of Anatolian history. But if it's a leisurely day trip you're after, rather than an overnighter, you can consider the Phrygian archaeological site at Gordion or the small Ottoman town of Beypazarı. Let's talk about Gordion first, okay? The capital of ancient Phrygia, with some 3,000 years of settlement behind it, Gordion lies 106 kilometers southwest of Ankara in the village of Yassıhük. Gordion was occupied by the Phrygians as early as the 9th century BC and soon afterwards became their capital. Although destroyed during the Cimmerian invasion, it was rebuilt before being conquered by the Lydians and then the Persians. Alexander the Great came through here and famously cut the Gordian knot in 333 BC, but by 278 BC, the Galatian occupation had effectively destroyed the whole city. The moonscape-like terrain around Yassıhük is dotted with tumuli, which means burial mounds. Arkadaşlar böyle gömü yerleri var, böyle tepelik gibi. Onlara tumuli deniyor arkadaşlar. That mark the graves of the Phrygian kings. Of some 90 identified tumuli, 35 have been excavated. You can enter the largest tomb and also view the site of the Gordian Acropolis. Verdicts revealed 5 main levels of civilization from the Bronze Age to Galatian times. There are no real facilities in Yassıhük, although at weekends you can find something to eat there. Okay? I want to talk about Midas tumulus in Gordian and Gordian Museum here. In 1957, Austrian archaeologist Alfred Kuerte discovered Gordian and with it the intact tomb of a Phrygian king, probably buried sometime between 740 and 718 BC. The tomb is actually a gabled cottage of cedar surrounded by juniper logs, buried inside a tumulus 53 meters high and 300 meters in diameter. It is the oldest wooden structure ever found in Anatolia and perhaps in the world. Evet, bu tümülüsün arkadaşlar, tümülüs kelimesinin çoğulu oluyor. Tümülü bu gömü alanları. Bu gömü alanı ise ahşaptan yapılmış ve dünyanın en büyüğü olarak kabul ediliyor. The tunnel leading into the depths of the tumulus is a modern addition. Inside the tomb, archaeologists found the body of a man between 61 and 65 years of age. He is 1 meter and 59 centimeters tall, not too tall, surrounded by burial objects, including tables, bronze stulas, which means containers, and bowls said to be part of the funeral burial feast. The occupant's name remains unknown, although it is thought to belong Gordius and Midas, the famous Phrygian kings. In the museum opposite of this tomb, Macedonian and Babylonian coins show Gordian's position at the center of Anatolian trade, communications, and military activities, as do the bronze figurines and glass bead jewelry from the Syro-Levantine region of Mesopotamia. And Acropolis is just beyond Yassıhük village. It is a 8th century BC Acropolis. Excavations here have yielded a wealth of data on Gordian's many civilizations. The site is a mess of jumbled, half-buried walls, and thanks to the scarcity of other visitors, it feels remote and forgotten. It has a lofty main gate on the western side of the Acropolis. It was approached by a 6-meter wide ramp. Within the fortified enclosure were 4 megara. Megara means square halls, from which the king and his priests and ministers ruled the empire. The mosaics found in one of these halls, the so-called citadel of Midas, are on display outside the Gordian Museum. Citadel ne demekti arkadaşlar? Büyük kale demekti. Okay. Okay, now let's talk about Beypazarı. A considered approach from a proactive town mayor has turned this picturesque Ottoman town, set high above the İnözü Vadisi, İnözü Valley, into the weekend destination for Ankara's escapees. Okay, more than 3,000 Ottoman houses lined the narrow streets in the hilltop old quarter, where 500 plus buildings and some 30 streets have been restored. Coppersmiths and carpenters beaver away, Shopkeepers flock model Ottoman houses in little bags to Ankaralı day trippers from Ankara. And the 200-year-old market recalls Beypazarı's position on the Silk Road. Yes. Occupying a sizable Ottoman mansion, Beypazarı Museum, in Turkish it's Beypazarı Tarih ve Kültür Evi, you can go and see it. It's a beautiful place. And on the first weekend in June, the local food festival, Havuç Güveç, celebrates the humble carrot. And in this area, grow more than half of the carrots consumed in Turkey. It's a lot, okay. Additional attractions, if you need it, include craft work markets and Ottoman house tours, and I highly recommend Ottoman house tours. It's beautiful, it's lovely. And while you are there, you can try the local delicacies, which include havuç lokum, the carrot-flavored Turkish delight, clumpy cevizli sucuğu, it's walnuts coated in grape jelly, and Beypazarı mineral water, which are bottled there and swigged throughout the country. Okay. Okay. We have to talk about Safranbolu. Okay. It's important, and it's a beautiful place. It's Turkey's most truly preserved Ottoman town. Okay. Safranbolu is an old town known as Çarşı. It's a vision of red-tiled roofs and meandering alleys, and it's full of candy stores and cobblers. Having first found fame with traders as an isolated source of the precious spice saffron. Yes, saffron, hence its name Safranbolu. People flock here today to recapture the heady scent of the yesteryear within the model of timber-framed mansions, which are now converted into quirky boutique hotels. Spending the night here is all about soaking up the enchanting Ottoman scene. All creaky wooden floors, exuberantly carved ceilings, and traditional covered bathrooms. A very wonderful experience. I highly recommend it. A day at the old hammam, or browsing the market shops and reveling in the cobblestone quietness is about as strenuous as it gets. But if history begins to feel a bit like old news, then hiking in the wondrous Yenice forest nearby will show you exactly why UNESCO stamped this region as a World Heritage Site in 1994. Okay, let's talk about a little bit about the history of Safranbolu. During the 17th century, the main Ottoman trade route between Gerede and the Black Sea coast passed through Safranbolu, bringing commerce, prominence, and money to the town. During the 18th and 19th centuries, Safranbolu's wealthy inhabitants built mansions of sun-dried mud bricks, wood, and stucco, while the larger population of prosperous artisans built less impressive but similarly sturdy homes. Safranbolu owes its fame to the large numbers of these dwellings that have survived. The most prosperous Safranbolu people maintain two households. In winter, they occupy townhouses in the Çarşı market district, which is situated at the meeting point of three valleys and so protected from winter winds. During the warm months of summer, they move to their summer houses in the garden suburb of Bağlar, which means vineyards. When the iron and steel works at Karabük were established in 1938, modern factory houses started to encroach on Bağlar, but Çarşı has remained virtually untouched. During the 19th century, about 20% of Safranbolu's inhabitants were Ottoman Greeks, but most of their descendants moved to Greece during the population exchange after the World War I. Their principal church, dedicated to Saint Stephen, was converted into Kranköy's Ulu Cami, called Great Mosque. Okay, it's the end of our second lesson of this week, and I'll see you and continue to talk about Safranbolu in our third video. Okay, bye bye. See you. Take care.